Misfits.
Hey everybody, we're back. It is day 8 of the 12 Days of Misfits. Temeko is at 9 points so far, and apparently he has upscaled to a nice little New York apartment there. And we are still working our way through some different prophecies. And we were even talking in between our recordings here about the fact that part of what makes this difficult is that we know these prophecies because we read them in the New Testament, but we very rarely actually see where they come from in the Old Testament, which is why this seems like it should be easy, but it's actually a little bit harder than we actually expect it to be. So with that in mind, Temeko, here is your image for today.
Cross swords.
The shape is not as important as the weapon.
Swords. Okay. Swords, messianic prophecy, swords.
This one, I will say, may be the hardest one on here.
Swords.
But if you have been paying attention to blogs that we have posted this year, this also should be somewhat simple.
Another reference to putting down your swords.
Not quite.
Okay, not quite. All right, hold on. Swords. Come on, Temeko. What think about swords and Messiah? Oh my gosh. Give me a verse.
So that's I'm trying to find the right verse here. Hang on, because I forgot to put down the actual verse.
Swords and
Where'd
prophecy.
it go? I know this is the right passage.
I'm stumped, people. If you in the comment section, you watching this live, or you watching this late, you just seeing it late. Comment. Because swords.
Sorry, I don't want to read the entire chapter, so I'm trying to find the correct verse there. There we go. There you go. Okay. So here is the verse specifically. Therefore I'll give him the many as a portion, and he will receive the mighty as spoil, because he willingly submitted to death and was counted among the rebels. Yet he bore the sin of many and interceded for those same rebels.
Oh my God.
Like I said, this is probably the hardest one. Do you at least have an idea of what prophet we're dealing with to get a half a point here?
I just be saying Isaiah because I'm in Isaiah right now. But I'm not.
It is Isaiah.
Okay, all right.
And actually, here's the fun part. We're back in Isaiah 53, just at the opposite end of the prophecy. So when we read this back, I think it was day 1 even, we were looking at the idea of Jesus as being the one that was rejected by man, right? He had no form, and yet he was rejected, but yet he was the Messiah. Now we're all the way down at the end, and this is the verse that gets ignored in the New Testament to support the idea that Christians are supposed to arm ourselves. This is what we were looking at when we looked at the blog that was just titled Swords and what Christians are supposed to do about it. He must be counted among the rebels. This is why Jesus tells the disciples, go buy a sword. So that when the arrest happened, there would be sufficient enough evidence to be able to say, this man is a rebel that's trying to overthrow the government, right? That's the passage. But this is actually why.
Messianic prophecy.
It's not about the weapons. It's about what the appearance was for Rome's sake. But beyond that, when we put it in context of what we already read in Isaiah 53, of the rejected Savior, of the rejected one, the one that is suffering and stricken and ugly and nobody wants to look at, and now he is not he is going to receive his reward.
Straight
And he's
up.
going to receive it because he's willingly submitted to death as a rebel. But in that death, he bore the sins of many and interceded for the actual rebels. The waiting was more than just about the Messiah coming. The waiting was about what the Messiah was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to intercede and submit to death in order to save the people that were what he was actually accused of being.
Yeah.
They called him a rebel and executed him as a political enemy. And yet, in doing so, he saves those that are enemies of God.
Man.
So, unfortunately for you, Temeko, you only get maybe half a point because you kind of knew Isaiah there. So, we're still at 9.5, which is still not too bad. We're still a little bit ahead of the days here. And we are going to see how well you can do here as we move into day 9 of the 12 days of Misfits.